I'm Jackie.
And I'm Ashley. Welcome back to Dumb Witch Club.
So, it's very exciting. We are now continuing our new sign Hoodis series. And we are up to the sign of Capricorn. So, as you hopefully already know, we have covered Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and we are now moving into Capricorn season, which is really defined by when the sun enters into that sign, or that sign crosses over where the sun is in relation to the earth, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. You know what's happening. Or you don't have to know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Capricorn season is upon us. And so we're going to be discussing Capricorn energy and what that means and what that looks like.
Yeah. Capricorn.
Yes. Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah. That wasn't planned at all.
No.
It was spontaneous.
It just felt right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of did feel right. Mm-hmm. Capricorn, I feel like it has like a maturity to it.
Totally. And a regal, right? Regal, maybe regal is not the right word. Establishedness.
Yes. Just an upright quality.
Yes. Yeah, and I sort of sat more upright. It reminded me of the way that I was saying grand trine.
Yes. And you were saying that a lot.
I know.
It's really cute.
I like it.
No, Capricorn energy is super fascinating.
Yeah.
Just to cover the basics at the basics of the basics at the very beginning here. Capricorn follows Sagittarius, as we said. So we're kind of in the beginning of the season right now. Generally goes from December 22nd to January 19th or 20th. Obviously, all of this can vary depending on your location, time zone, et cetera, et cetera. But that's kind of the approximations. So Capricorn is cardinal earth night energy.
Such a fascinating, I always say that, but it's such a fascinating combination of things. This one in particular feels that way.
Yes. I think Capricorn is very difficult to pin down, actually. It is one of the more difficult signs to characterize because there are many, many types of people and types of energies that are flowing through the sign of Capricorn.
And I love that you said flowing through because it is an earth sign, but it has so much sort of watery elements, so many sort of watery elements to it too.
Yes, and I think that is really demonstrated in the symbol for Capricorn. So it's a goat, but it's a sea goat, which is, a mythological creature. Let's say it's not a real creature in the modern days, but it's a goat with a tail, like a fish tail or like a mermaid tail.
Yeah.
And I think that really does speak to the way that Capricorn actually combines a lot of almost opposing energies within it.
Absolutely.
And it's a cardinal sign. It's not one of those, like the mutable signs like we've talked about tend to really kind of bring together different, energies or different, kind of characteristics.
Sure.
But Capricorn does that for sure.
It does.
And it's like the earth and the water.
Yeah, it has the emotion side, but it has that grounded sort of earth side. And it's cardinal, so it has that really initiating leadership energy to it.
Yes.
It's grounded.
Very forward.
It notes, but yes, it's very forward. It's very action oriented.
Yes. And I think the kind of main words that you'd associate with Capricorn are like achievement.
Oh, that's what I wrote too. Love it.
Yes. Okay. All right. And some those I phrases that go with each sign for Capricorn, it's I utilize. So I think that really is pointing to a practicality of Capricorn energy and of kind of assessing or looking at what is available and utilizing all of that towards a purpose. And Capricorn, and we start to get into where maybe sometimes Capricorn energy can suffer from being concerned with social accomplishment.
Yes.
Which, and I don't know, I mean, I guess I'm going there, so I'll just go there right now. one of the things that we sometimes see with Capricorn energy is there is a desire to achieve and accomplish, but sometimes it's coupled with a lot of self-doubt.
Yes.
Or from those kind of aspirations coming from a place of wanting to be looked at by others and accepted in society, versus really from like a true sense of this is my identity and I'm expressing it through these accomplishments.
Yes. I think it's an interesting duality with Capricorn too, because, you know, I think like the modern association in astrology is like the mountain goat.
Yes.
Like sea goat's kind of,
right.
you know, the traditional, and then like modern astrology is this mountain goat. And so you sort of, the mountain goat is like very cool with being sort of out on a limb on its own.
Yes.
Climbing at its own pace, achieving, you know, according to its own set of values. And is comfortable, but there's a little bit of that, like, wait, but like, are people noticing that I'm doing this, or like, am I doing it kind of wrong, or like, am I really the one that should be doing? Yeah, there's like that in the back.
Yes, and I know, and I think just even mentioning that sort of that traditional imagery of the sea goat, and then sort of the more modern imagery is almost just like the tail, the sea part is like forgotten about. It's sort of like cut off. And I think obviously Capricorn is an earth sign. It does have that very, you know, like a goat, like that tenacity and that kind of very like, you know, hanging on the ledge of a cliff type of energy. But there is this undercurrent that is that connection to the water, to the emotional, to like those kind of depths. That's definitely there. Yeah. And I know that I know a lot of very significant Capricorns in my life. Yeah. My mom's a Capricorn. One of my grandfathers is a Capricorn. Her dad. I have one daughter who's a Capricorn. So, yeah.
Yeah. So does that ring true for you about those people that you know? Like in terms of the mountain goat, sea goat kind of thing?
Yes. And I think that, so just to speak on my daughter for a few moments, the polarity energy to Capricorn is Cancer. And I think that's kind of what is almost brought in with that sea goat aspect. It's like kind of pulling in its own polarity to incorporate those energies. But my daughter in particular, she's also a Cancer rising. And so I feel like she really does naturally mix both of those things. Yeah. And she is quite ambitious. She is very hardworking. Yes. And I wouldn't say she's like patient on the surface, but she's very patient as in she has this goal in mind, and she is having obstacle after obstacle, and yet she is still going for it, you know? And she doesn't doubt her capabilities in that way. No. But I sometimes wonder, why does she want to do this stuff? You know? Yeah. And I don't think it's like, to make me happy or to look good in a narcissistic way. Right. It's more just like, is this really the truest expression of herself? And I don't know. It's not for me to answer. That's for her to answer. It's part of her journey. But anyway, so that's kind of how I see that combining like in a specific person that I know who's a Capricorn.
That's so fascinating. I think it's one of the most, honestly, just symbolically like that, and just the way that we're talking about it. And I don't have as many significant like personal relationships with Capricorns as you do, but I know some. Yeah. And yeah, I really see that in them. It's like there's such a different earth sign. They're really different in that way. And I think it is that it's like you described, them pulling in the polarity from the other side is like such an accurate way to describe that. It's also one of the most dynamic signs because of that. There's not a lot that are like that. It's a very, very unique sign in that way.
I also think that has to do with where Capricorn falls on the astrological wheel. Right. So it's the 10th sign. So it's the third, to the last. There's only two more. So when we think of that astrological wheel as a life cycle, and so by the time you get to, that 10th phase of life, you're more mature, you're wizened in ways. I think that's definitely evident. And I think maturity and sort of that kind of practicality is
Yeah.
definitely part of Capricorn energy.
For sure. And its ruling planet is Saturn.
Yes.
So, and that just was reminding me of our conversation with the planets last time, and when we were like anthropomorphizing them and saying that Saturn was like the old man.
Yeah.
Like the grandpa.
Exactly.
Which fits, I feel like it also kind of fits with like the goat, like
yes,
aesthetic
the little
of like
goat
the
with
beard.
the little goatee or whatever.
Totally.
Totally. No, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. And I think Capricorn is very aware of like the same energies that Saturn has, of time running out and the need to be practical and productive and hardworking because we have limited time.
Yeah, that's
and I think
true.
that's like an innate sensibility that Capricorns have, which kind of lends to that maturity. And I hate the term old soul. I really do for various reasons, because I think sometimes that means it's a kid who's been traumatized.
Totally.
But aside from that, I feel like in the pure sense of this energy, it is more that old soul energy, which is what we start to get at the end of the astrological wheel. I think that's present in Aquarius and Pisces as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. Yeah. I just was remembering that little Saturn image, and it fits so well. All of that fits well. Yeah, it fits really well with all of what sort of embodies Saturn as a planet as well, and what it's concerned with and everything too.
Yeah, definitely. I think also it's interesting, and I know this specifically because I have a daughter that was born in January, and there's some really cool celebrities that are born
Yes.
in Capricorn
I'm
season.
so glad you mentioned that.
And specifically, there's one day that has two really significant like music people born on it.
Who are you going to say?
So I'm going to say like David Bowie and Elvis Presley share a birthday. It's January 8th. And I think that's just really interesting and significant. Mm-hmm. And there's such different personalities, too.
Yep, I was just going to say that, yep.
And I think one is kind of, I think they both are hardworking. I think they both obviously got where they've gotten. I think they both have emotional tendencies, but very, very different.
Very different. Can I add one more music person?
Yeah, but is it on the same day or a different day?
It's not on the same day.
Okay, that's fine.
But she's a Capricorn.
Okay.
Dolly.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I mean, as soon as you were saying it, I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dolly.
Exactly.
Ugh. Dolly's the perfect encapsulation of that.
No, she really is. And I think if we look at all three of those people, look, you can say anyone that's achieved that level of success must be hardworking. They must be, all of these things.
Valid.
But I also feel like particularly like prolific and iconic, like in just a really different way.
Yes, in a really different way. In an emotional way.
And in an emotional way. And in almost like a pulse on the vibe of, culture.
Yes, and even at the forefront, right? Like Elvis, Bowie, like at the forefront of that too, and like pushing the envelope, like Elvis being banned, and like Bowie's music being misunderstood, and even Dolly sort of was like the original like bimbo,
right? The original like dumb blonde,
and like embracing it and like I know I look like this, like I'm very aware of Barbara Walters. I know exactly.
It costs a lot of money to look this cheap.
Exactly, and just owning that and like capitalizing on it, but also staying really true to who she was and like reaching people in such an amazing way. That's just Capricorn energy at its absolute finest.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So I know I've mentioned in all of these series, there's sort of an image that's associated. So for Capricorn, it is actually the mountain peak. And I think that, and like we're speaking about these particular, celebrities or musicians, the Capricorn goal is really to get to the top and stay there. And whatever the top is whatever they think it is.
Yes.
And if it's to be, a musician on some level, or if it's to be, a doctor, or if it's to be like the best mom, or, whatever the goal is for them. And it's kind of that, mountain goat, just going and going and going, ledges and all kinds of things.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing. There's so much to say about Capricorn. I had more than I thought that I had to say. I have a lot.
Keep saying it.
What am I going to have to say? But I do. I have a lot. Yeah, it's also associated with the 10th house.
Yes.
So 10th sign, 10th house. So,
Yes.
and the 10th house being, which we'll go into that stuff later, but just, I thought I'd mention it because it's kind of so important, like career, profession, and like you said, social standing.
Yes.
Social sort of, opinion, image, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And not to diverge too much into the whole like houses thing, but that's where it's called your midheaven is that cusp of your 10th house. And that midheaven is whatever sign is there for you based on your rising sign. That's going to be sort of the energy that your career, your social standing, and all of that stuff flow through. So, yeah.
So fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. So I know, like, we've often also in all of these discussions talked about the skillful and unskillful presentations of these energies. And I kind of already dove into that a little bit with the whole, like, self-doubt thing. But I feel like the skillful presentations are organized, practical, mature, hardworking, planning, ambitious. What other words come to mind for you?
I also think that they're extremely, I don't know if you said this or something like this, but self-aware, I would say for sure.
Yeah, I did not say that.
I think another kind of like, maybe that isn't mentioned a lot, but I find to be true, is their sense of humor. And it's often a pretty sarcastic sense of humor, but it's spot on. Their sense of humor is amazing.
Yeah, well, and obviously I'm going to talk about my daughter a lot because I know her really well, but she's hilarious.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
Yeah.
She was just making us laugh.
She was just making us, oh yeah, she had like a perfect Capricorn moment in the house, actually. She's like, how does she start? She's like, oh, I guess who got talked into picking up another shift at work tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, she loves her job and she loves working. And she loves going to school too, but... I was like, yeah, okay, of course you did.
Yeah.
And what did she say?
She said, what did she say? She said, not to misquote her, so we better get it right. She said, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting.
She said, I also really like that money or something.
Like that money.
Oh, we're misquoting her.
I better see that cash.
Oh, yeah.
Like
she's like, because I got to see that cash.
Yeah, I got to see that cash. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And we were like, oh my gosh.
I know, I was like, this is the most like Capricorn thing I've ever heard.
Totally.
And I would say like the sign that is more particularly associated with like money itself is kind of Taurus, which is another earth sign. Yes. So of course there is that connection there. But I was just like, yes, of course. Like, of course. She works all the time. She just wants to work all the time.
Yeah. And she loves that she's being asked because you can
she's
tell that
so
she does.
Good at her job.
She's so
she works really hard. She tries hard. She takes it seriously. She cares about it. She also likes to not work and sleep and rest and hang out with her friends. It's not like she's like a workaholic, but yeah, it's just, I know, it's really funny.
Yeah, that was great. That was the most Capricorn thing to happen right before we had to talk about Capricorn.
Yeah, it's literally like, yes, okay, perfect, wonderful.
The content writes itself.
Yes. I also think some, along with kind of what we were saying, but like, I feel like Capricorn energy is also very, like pointed, like whatever it is, it's kind of along with these things that we've already said. Whatever it is that they get focused on, they're just going to be relentlessly focused on that.
Definitely.
And achieving that, whatever that kind of goal is. And it's just, I remember my grandfather started running when he was like 58 years old. Wow. And he ended up running like 13 marathons and he did 100-mile weeks for years.
Whoa.
So like, this is Capricorn energy that he was putting into that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do now.
And they love, what I've noticed, they love a framework.
Yes,
and
structure.
Yes, and when you were saying that about your grandfather, that's what it was making me think. Like, he found a framework to sort of, like, pull that energy into, and then he was like, okay, and like in the marathons, and they're a certain length, and this is what I had, and this is how many I have to do to train up to it.
Yes, exactly, and this is how you get there. It's like going up that mountain, right?
Yes,
it's like, and this is how I go.
Totally, and there's a lot of reverence. I feel like they have a lot of reverence for sort of those structures and traditions and, you know, framework, and this is how you do it. And
which is very that Saturn energy too.
Yes,
100%.
Law and all that kind of stuff. Yes, this is the right sort of way to do it, and I know how to follow that, and I'm going to do it to a T, and I'm going to achieve it.
Yes. It is, I mean, there is appeal to that, I think, you know.
There is.
But sort of then going as it can too, kind of too far off in that unskillful direction, right? And we can always see those connecting threads of somebody being overly controlling, somebody being rigid, of somebody being fearful and restricted, repressed.
Yeah.
Even cold because they're, so inside themselves.
Totally. Like on the sort of mountain peak or ledge or whatever, like I'm doing my thing.
Yes.
And just, almost like an aloof quality because it's like no one else understands. I have to really just like focus on this.
Yes. And if you even think about like that mountain peak, like there's not really room for a whole group of people up there,
So true. Yes. I'm now thinking of the fact that my partner has a Capricorn rising. Which I knew, of course, but like as we were talking through it, it started to occur to me because I'm like, I don't have like a lot of significant Capricorns, sons in my life. But then I was thinking about it, I'm like, yes, he's a Capricorn rising. And those qualities very much come to the forefront with who he is. And are things that I think are very dynamic about him and that draw people to him because he is very capable and very ambitious.
Yes. No, and that's so interesting. I think a lot of times, I think the rising sign, you don't know people's rising sign a lot of the time.
Right.
But even if you do, sometimes you forget about it.
You do.
Even though it really is the most kind of forward presenting,
Right.
But when you know someone better than that, sometimes you forget about that.
You do, because maybe you're not interacting with that as much. You're interacting more with, the moons. Which we know what that one is, too. So.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you share a moon with such a special person... And it happens to be a Leo moon. I don't know. I mean, whatever.
It just happens to
be. I mean, I can mention it if I want to.
I mean, it can be perfection.
There's no better. I mean, really.
I mean, obviously, to me, there's no better.
I know. You must like it.
Right?
Don't get mad at us. You're the one. You picked us.
I'm not mad. No, not mad. Nope, not mad.
Yeah, no, that's really funny. That's really good. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Something else is interesting. And I read this, and it's like I'm not exactly sure where this even came from or what.
Okay.
Like I know where I read it, but I'm like, how is this? So I want to bring it up with you, actually.
Okay.
So it talked about Saturn and Capricorn and time, and this sort of like bringing up the ability to age backwards.
Oh, I read that somewhere, too.
And to like manipulate the normal course of events.
Yes, I read that somewhere too, and I found it kind of strange, and I didn't read further into it either, but I was like, age backwards, like interesting. I wonder what is really meant. Is that more like a symbolic sort of like maybe kind of like your grandfather, like he started to do that pursuit that like a lot of people would associate with youth, like actual physical youth,
right?
But he started to sort of pursue that at like a later age than you typically would,
right?
I don't know, and maybe like that's the idea of like they are not sort of held in or burdened by like age as a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's actually like an example that actually illustrates what that
I
might
feel like it does.
be about.
Yeah.
And I just think there's that concept of like gaining more, like as you gain wisdom, maybe there's a way to actually return to childlike innocence, like through that wisdom, because you realize that maybe things like you took too seriously or you, I don't know, like maybe it kind of, I don't know, I'm like tying this together as I'm talking. Like maybe it kind of connects to how hardworking and sort of dedicated Capricorn energy can be.
Yeah.
That maybe there is kind of this point with combining that with time.
Yeah. Where
there is like this wisdom and this sort of realization that maybe all of that was good, but that maybe that's not the way.
That's so fascinating.
Forever.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm thinking like with the Saturn energy too, like there's this kind of wizened, like, I've seen this, like, I know how this is going to, you know, like,
yes.
Like, yeah, I don't know, like, almost like they know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But
no, but there is, I feel like that is something of what you're saying or not saying is there.
Yeah.
I think Capricorn, like I was saying at the beginning, it really is a difficult sign to characterize because there's so many sort of complex, different types of people or different types of characteristics of people that are born with that sun sign. And I just think it's very complex.
It is. I think it's more complex than people think. I don't think a lot of attention is, there's certain signs that people really talk about a lot. Like they're always in people's mouths.
Yes.
And like, Leo for sure is one of them. Scorpio, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gemini for sure. Like you just see a lot of these signs that sort of, people talk about or they villainize or, they just...
Or they just, for some reason, it's just always like something about them.
Always something about them. I never hear people doing that about Capricorn.
No, and I think when we talked about the elements in that one episode too, like I feel like earth signs, the element of earth, it gets not ignored, but just kind of like it's just not given as much attention.
Yeah, it isn't. And sort of the complexities within.
Yes. They're sort of unrecognized.
I agree. And Capricorn is one of the most fascinating.
Yes. No, I would agree with that, honestly. And I think that it really is. It's like that cardinal earth, that night, that combination of things. And they're all like very equally present, I feel, in Capricorn energy. I feel like with some, we could say like, it's heavier on the element presentation, or it's heavier on, I feel like Capricorn is very balanced, and it's just, they're all so different, but they're just all present together.
Yeah. So interesting.
It is. Do you have things in Capricorn in your own chart?
No.
Yeah.
No, I do not believe so.
Yeah. No, neither do I.
No.
I mean, obviously, your house is in Capricorn,
of
whichever
course.
one is. But,
but
no, I don't have any planets in Capricorn either.
No,
so,
I do not.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh, okay. I wanted to mention this specifically. So I was doing a little bit of holiday shopping. In fact, it was for you.
Oh, of course.
Exactly.
Do you shop for other people?
I mean, I'm forced to, yes.
That's okay.
But yes, I enjoy the process of shopping for you. And I was, and I'm not going to tell you, you'll see eventually, but.
Okay. It's just, she's like, and I got you this, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Anyways, okay.
I'm going to tell you. But it's good. It's really good.
Wait, what is it?
And I was at this shop and I was specifically looking for paper ephemera.
Oh, I love paper ephemera.
I know, so do I.
I do.
And I was
really
looking, and I was looking in the card section, and I saw a card that said, Jesus is a Capricorn.
He is.
I know. And then I opened it because I'm like, let me see. No, blank.
That's so good. That's so funny.
I know.
Never thought of that.
I know. It was really good. And I was like, of course. And I wanted it.
I feel like Jesus is a Capricorn.
Yeah, I do too.
Look at that life trajectory. Very dedicated.
Yeah.
Very hardworking.
Yes. Out on a limb. Was like, I'm doing this, guys.
Yeah.
They're like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I gotta do it. Gotta do it for everyone. I have to. I'm doing it.
Mature beyond his years.
Right? But then inside was kind of like, wait, are we sure that I have to?
That's true.
Right? It was like, oh, is there like another way? Because this seems kind of bummer.
He was doing it for societal acceptance.
Yes.
Even though it was also rejected by society.
Completely.
Complex.
I know.
Yeah.
Jesus is a Capricorn.
That's really funny. And I love that the card was blank.
That's all it needed to say.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So Capricorn, you got Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
You got Dolly Parton. You got Jesus.
I mean.
And whoever else. Lots of others.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Tons. Yes.
My amazing daughter.
Yes, your daughter. Yes, let us know.
Yeah.
Out there
that
we're forgetting. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now I feel like we have come to the moment that, I have been waiting for. We have all been waiting for.
Oh, I love this.
You have to fulfill your traditional role of determining by your divine knowledge.
Yeah, love that. This is what it's come to.
What social media platform is Capricorn?
Yeah, it's a good question. And
I'm really excited to find out.
Yeah, Capricorn is
Yeah, I'm excited.
LinkedIn.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And like,
I can
not
see that.
LinkedIn the way that like you have an account with LinkedIn, but you forget your password all the time and they sort of send you things and you try to click on it, but it's like log in and you're like, I don't know. What's my LinkedIn? I don't know. Not like that.
No.
No. Capricorns, they know everything that is laid out there.
Yeah.
And it is all germane to every purpose they need it to be.
Yes.
They will do the other things that people do on LinkedIn, which like I'm very unaware of, but you know, they do these sort of networking, sort of presentation things. Whatever those things are, Capricorn knows what they are.
And they do them.
And they do them because that is the way that they need to get that social recognition and that networking so that they can
And it's
achieve.
about their work, self, and presenting that. I think
but it's innovative at the same time, and it's initiating energy. It's cardinal energy.
It is cardinal energy.
Because you're taking that. It's your LinkedIn is like you owning your CV and you kind of presenting it in a unique way and being like, this is how you need me. Like this is how I'm selling myself.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're good.
I'm proud of that one.
You should be.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I really like it.
I like it too. I hope the other Capricorns like it.
I think they should. And if they don't have a LinkedIn, they're going to go get one.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to be like, what is this thing? And why don't I know about it? And why am I not
I need to have that. And I need to make the videos. And I need to do the networking in it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it'll all be pristine and beautiful. So.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. I love it. So, all right. I think that about wraps up the Capricorn edition of New Sign Who Dis. So on that note, we want to remind you that we love everyone in all signs, or at least we don't not love you because of your sign.
Dumb Witch Club is written and produced by us, Ashley Sidner,
and Jackie Gerard at the Dumb Witch Clubhouse in Orange County, California.
Produced and edited by Matt Heinemeyer, creative director and culture consultant Violet Turner.
Original music by Ashley Sidner. And look us up on all your favorite social media platforms, including Patreon.
Until next time, stay witchy, friends.
And stay dumb.